Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show, Football Tonight, here on TopFCRadio.com, on TopFCNews.com. Laurent Cortines, Chris Rodriguez here to bring you the latest news, their latest talk. Not a lot going on right now. Not a lot of news, really. You know, we can get picky on certain things, but we are going to talk about the Ballon d'Or. A lot of people have been just talking about it. Who deserves it? Lionel Messi coming up, Haaland coming up, Julian Alvarez coming up, Bukayo Saka also, Arsenal fans throwing his name out there. We have a lot of people to discuss, a long list, but maybe a few that are going to be a clear cut to win this trophy. We got Cristiano Ronaldo also declaring that his rivalry with Messi is over, so everybody should get over it. It's been done. It's happened, so there's nothing else to talk about it. Chelsea legend John Terry is set to make his first managerial job, maybe over in Saudi Arabia, in the Saudi Pro League. What do we think about that? Can Berhalter really lead the U.S. men's national team to succeed in the World Cup? I guess that's the goal. That's the target, right? I don't think the target is the Nations League or the Gold Cup. And at the end, we're going to talk about what people have been talking here in the U.S. Somehow, the first game of the U.S. versus a country from the Middle East here. I don't know how to say it, but they're going to be playing here in St. Louis, in my home city. And
which
Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan or something like that.
Got it, Uzbekistan, sure.
And so a lot of people have been saying, is St. Louis the U.S. capital of soccer in the United States of America? I didn't know such thing existed. But there is a lot of history, and surprisingly or not surprisingly, a lot of players of this team and also in history have come out of St. Louis, and we're going to talk about that. So, Laurent, what's going on with you, man? How's old San Diego and the San Diego Loyal? How's San Diego?
Hey, our season and life as a team is almost over.
No, but listen, I threw that question out there in the chat.
It's no problem.
I threw that, if you don't know, San Diego Loyal play in the USL, and I guess you can say it, a league below the MLS. They're not even related to each other, really.
Well,
but
no. But to be clear, there have been at least 4 or 5 teams that I know that have been in the USL and have gone to MLS. Right. So Cincinnati, Minnesota, Orlando, and Portland were all in the USL and went and bought their way in. So they proved that they were viable markets. They got stadiums, bought their way in, and moved as a franchise into MLS. So that's one way to do it. The other way that MLS does is they try and work with the local team. They get a franchise and then kill off the other team. So that has happened too, I believe.
But what if, all of a sudden, since the announcement, the ultimate demise announcement, they've been, 2-0. Or 2-2, I guess you could say, however you want to say it. But
so in the USL, the thing that happens is, if you can imagine, in MLS there's roster turnover. In the USL, there's a lot of roster turnover. So what happens is the guys get paid, if they're lucky, $50,000 a year. If they're lucky, they're playing professional. They're young. It's fine. They don't have kids. They're in their 20s. They can play professional soccer for $50,000 a year at the low end, and at the high end, it's probably, if they're lucky, $100,000, right? But you get to be a professional soccer player or whatever. That's fine. But the thing that makes good teams good in the USL is continuity. If you have the same team for a season on season, you almost always do well. And that is what the Loyal have. The Loyal brought back about 80% of their team from the previous season. So we've had a lot of continuity. And even though in the flux of the season, it's been weird, I think that the Loyal are a favorite for sure to win the title. Like they could go to the playoffs and win.
But so if they win it, there's no chance they can stay alive.
No,
because that has nothing to do with it. You winning the money and
zero
and all that stuff.
They don't have a ballpark, so there's no stadium for them. The stadium that the MLS team is going to play in, Snapdragon Stadium, formerly Qualcomm Park, torn down, where Jack Murphy Stadium, where the Padres and the the Padres and the Rams, not the Rams, the other one, the Chargers used to play, is gone. There's a stadium there now, and the Wave play there, San Diego Wave, and our most overrated player in the world, Alex Morgan, plays there from Orange County. But it is for the university, San Diego State University, and the Loyal do not have a chance to go there. The MLS team will go there, and so Loyal don't have a place to play. They were playing in San Diego University of San Diego's stadium, which they were paying rent to. They didn't own the concessions. They didn't own the parking. The only way to be viable in the lower divisions is if you can get your hands on every piece of revenue you can. The goal is to make a city or someone pay for your stadium, and then you get a cheap rate and you own everything. Or you have a super rich owner who literally builds a stadium.
Right.
So no one wanted to build San Diego.
So Landon Donovan is not rich?
Landon Donovan is not rich enough to buy land in Southern California and build a stadium.
Damn.
Well, because think about it. It's so you can't build anything down in nobody builds anything, right? The only person who builds stadiums in California is Kroenkes, who spent 15 years trying to get that land where in LA, and he's a multi-billionaire. He owns Arsenal. He owns the Emirates. He owns they own the Colorado Rapids. They own the Colorado Rockies. They own all these teams, and that's their business: real estate and sports teams. And so they have all the connections and did everything that they could. Well, Landon Donovan and the Loyal do not have that. This will be their last season, and then I'll have no professional soccer in San Diego next season, except for Los Xolos de Tijuana. But
oh hell no.
I don't feel like going to Tijuana to watch the Xolos.
The Xolos, man, the dogs, the hairless dogs.
What is nice about it is their stadium is right next to the casino and the dog track. So if you go see the Xolos, you can go bet on dogs too. Which is fun.
The Perrera.
If you find that stuff offensive, I'm sorry.
Whatever.
But they do race dogs.
It's called the Perrera, man. The what are you saying in English?
And let me tell you, they are fast. The dog track.
Yeah. It's not necessarily the dog track. It's like the dog pound. That's kind of what it is. The dog pound. Anyways,
they're fast. It's amazing to see them. It's an amazing thing to see. I recommend, if you're not so offensive, to see greyhounds running at full speed chasing a rabbit. It's incredible. They're so fast. It's unreal. Yep.
Anyways, man, the Ballon d'Or, a lot of controversy, a lot of players. So we got to give everybody their respect. I don't know what the hell Kim Min-jae is doing out there, but I get it. Napoli.
It's a ridiculous list.
They don't have to make a 20 people.
I don't even know how people get on it.
They should just get a 10 player list. Are you talking about the top?
Not even 5.
Or 5. Yeah, exactly. It could be 5. I mean, I don't know how they got it. They got it in some sort of order. Not the one is the one that's going to win it, number 1, but they have it in some kind of order here. And I mean, Kim Min-jae is obviously off the. I mean, in our eyes, off the list, right? He's not even. I mean, Napoli is not a team that really, even if they win the Champions League, or last year if they would have won it, I don't think. I mean, I guess it depends, but whatever. I don't think he's done enough really to be. He's Bayern Munich now,
no.
So another one.
All those guys that won at Napoli get respect. So
they're going to get some recognition. Now, Harry Kane, of course, England has to have somebody, and he's probably 40 goals, 9 assists. Captain in the England at the World Cup. I mean, that could be a plus, even though you have to analyze how he contributed to the team and how the team did in the World Cup. Now, 40 goals in the Premier League is a lot. Let's be honest. 9 assists as well. That's almost a double-double for a season, and that's got to be. I would consider him. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't vote for him, but he should be up there. I would say. Now they have Emiliano Martinez. There's absolutely no way in hell that this dude is going to win.
I don't think a defensive player or a goalkeeper has won it for 40 years.
Well, no, Cannavaro won it. Cannavaro won it. 2006, not too long ago.
Yeah, that's one.
But I mean, you have to really be great. I mean, Beckenbauer.
Yeah,
Those are like
yeah, but that
ultimate.
was a different
Oh,
that was a different time. Oh, yeah,
those are like ultimate, like world. I don't even know if they're world class anymore. Those are like probably the best defenders that ever played in history. Cannavaro, I don't know if he was that, but in a defensive team like Italy at the time, I mean,
yeah.
who else do you give it to? That so Emiliano Martinez is not even. Come on, now Martin Odegaard is a good one. I mean, not.
Didn't
Uh,
make,
but,
yeah, but Norway didn't make the World Cup, so you have to remember
yeah,
this
yeah,
encompassed
yeah.
the
It has
World
to be
Cup. It's
everything.
gonna be
Yeah.
it's there's just no it's just like
Yeah.
I think the real question is, and you can keep on going through the list, is whether Messi should get it for simply winning the World Cup. That's really the
Well,
question. He did not have a great season at PSG. PSG had a bad season, but he literally did the most famous thing, and he's the most famous player to do the thing that we all wanted him to do, to the point that Louis van Gaal's talking shit, saying that they cheated.
right. But
So,
see, here's the thing.
so this is really what it's about.
Well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we can obviously we can skip to that to that. That's the main. That's the main deal. Between 3-4 guys or three, really, basically, or two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Messi did the one thing, like you said, everybody wanted him to do. Everybody haters and lovers wanted him to do. Everybody that hated on Messi told him, "You're whatever, but you don't win the World Cup with your country." And he did that one thing that everybody wanted him to do for years and years, even Argentinian people that hated, or not, maybe not hated, but they really went hard at Messi for decades because according to them, he didn't sing the national anthem hard enough, or he didn't grow up there as a youngster.
His biggest problem is that he's not Maradona.
But
he literally has the opposite personality
because of the personality. But that doesn't. Yeah. That's just different people. You can't. What I mean. So, I mean,
I agree.
I will say one thing though. I have serious doubts that the Ballon d'Or is going to go to a player that has left Europe, and I just don't.
You underestimate the stupidity of the voters.
Well, the thing here is, I mean, this would be world breaking in a lot of ways. He would be the first player to play outside of Europe to win it in history. He would be the first MLS player to win it ever. The first, I mean, that would be insane to say. Of course,
yeah.
Now let's be honest, because this is a little bit, unfair because Pelé never won one, but he played in the MLS, and obviously, if Pelé played today,
it was a year. It was a year award until
2000, and that's why Maradona never won one.
Right, exactly.
So, but I mean, I don't. I can see it because of the World Cup. I can see that. I know Erling Haaland has won the treble, but the thing is, he didn't get his national team to the World Cup, just to the World Cup, even. Not that he did it. So, but the treble is good. A lot of goals. I want to know how many goals he scored last season. You probably know more.
52.
Okay, so 52 is a lot. Is a lot of goals. Was he the Golden Boot? I'm sure.
Yes, in England, yes.
But
he was the world Golden Boot. He was the European.
The world, yeah. Okay, so but I will say one thing, and I'm going to give my hot take right now. To me, there's ways that the French football can make a statement in this. Many ways. They can give it to Erling Haaland. That could probably be the less way to make a statement, maybe, because I mean he's in Europe. He got the treble. Just give it to him. I don't know if there will be a lot of, but like if they give it to Messi, then again everything I said about the MLS record and the first non-European player, all that stuff, it could be something different. So and the player I'm about to name could be that as well. And I would actually consider giving it to, and I mean, this is going to be crazy, but I would give it to Julian Alvarez. I know you're about to lose your mind, but I think that he contributed tremendously for Argentina to win the World Cup. He scored definite, like really important goals for Argentina.
Big goals, sure.
And he also helped Manchester City go. Maybe he wasn't the best player. Maybe he didn't score as many goals, but he also contributed for Man City to win the treble. So if you actually look at both competitions, he contributed importantly to those competitions. Maybe not as much as Messi or Haaland, but I don't know that French football will give it to him. Probably not.
No.
But I think he should be considered.
He's on the list. So the list
aside from being on the list.
Yeah, the list is comprised mostly of City and Argentina players. There are some World Cup heroes in there. We've got Buono from Morocco, who had an amazing moment. Odegaard for his work at Arsenal. Vinicius Jr. for his amazing season at Real Madrid. Lautaro Martinez, Argentina again. Rodri for the treble and how he was with Spain. So a lot of good players. And I think the real argument is this. Do you reward Haaland for the biggest scoring goal season in a year on a team that won the treble? I would argue, and I think City fans would argue, that Haaland is not even City's best player, honestly, or most important player last season. It's Kevin De Bruyne in attack. It's Rodri in terms of making things happen. But goals are the big headline. It will be Messi in a landslide, and I'll explain to you why. You have to remember that this is a award that just goes to journalists around the world. Now, we're focused very often on, your English, your Spanish, your, French journalists, Italy. Those journalists don't watch other leagues. So while they may vote locally for their local team players, when it comes up, they're going to vote for the name. And that's why you see Champions League winners. And that's why you see World Cup winners. People won't even think about MLS. They will think about Messi. They will think about that World Cup. And they will elect him to be the Ballon d'Or winner. Whether it's right or wrong, it is fundamentally a popularity contest. And it is very much an award for what you have done in the past, right? When Benzema won it, it was an award for how great he had been in the years in Cristiano's shadow, and the fact that
he was very important when he won,
and the fact that Messi had just gone to PSG and he was terrible. He didn't even have 10 goals. But last season, I think that fundamentally Messi was okay in France. Yes, they did poorly in the Champions League, but he didn't mail it in like he did the season before. And winning the World Cup for Messi, it's such a slam dunk. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get 50% of the vote.
Yeah, I mean, he's more than likely going to win it. And Haaland, I mean, I wouldn't rule Haaland out, obviously.
It would not be a surprise. It would not be a shocking, oh my God, I can't believe he did it. But it would be an upset for sure.
But the fact that
it would be a massive upset.
The way I looked at it before was the fact that Messi abandoned Europe. Don't you think that it could be sort of a punishment for him not to be like
Europeans do think that way? They are sick fucks, but I'm sure the voting has already been done for a while. Like that's the kind of thing. But here's the precedent to think about, right? Luka Modric winning in 2018 for getting to the final of the World Cup. He was never the best player in the world, but he was on a big team in a big moment when the two other players were down, and we saw him in the World Cup carrying Croatia. That's essentially the Messi story, right? Old veteran head, big team. Now, Real Madrid did win the Champions League, so he did have the double in that sense. But he was never the best player in the world, Modric. And it was just that, Barca were down, Argentina had a bad World Cup, and there is Messi fatigue. I mean, Messi won in 2019, sure. Actually, he won in 2021 too. He's won very recently, which is insane. But I just think World Cup, he's going to win. Or even think about this one. Jorginho finished in third for winning the Euro and the Champions League with Chelsea. I mean, I just can't see how Messi doesn't win this, especially the way these sort of fans vote in the weirdest, most bizarre ways. And how Lewandowski didn't win because of COVID is just dumb They should have just given him the goddamn trophy.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, there's a lot of other things that come through it. I think
but
it's pretty cool.
But looking at some of these players, of course, Saka is not going to win it, or Bellingham really, but you kind of see the future right there. I don't know exactly about Saka. I mean, he was good for Arsenal. I just don't buy it yet. I don't buy that he's a top-notch, world-class player. I mean,
he's got it's got to be Champions League, right? That's the difficult thing. You're never proven until.
And he's still young. Now, we'll say one thing. Jude Bellingham really has that look. That's the difference right there. Does. He has the look that he will be the best player in the world at a certain point. Definitely started a crazy way. I mean, he's going to have to come down from this one at some point. Real Madrid is not it's not an easy jersey.
If I were Saka, that left side at Real Madrid is pretty open, right?
Well,
why not go?
Well, Vinicius plays there.
Then the right side, excuse me. There's not a lot of.
Well, if you're right. I mean,
Salah and there's Saka, and that's it.
Yeah,
really, on that side.
But they don't.
Everyone is on the other side.
But he's. Yeah. I mean, he hasn't been exploited. I don't think he's been exploited in that position for Arsenal. Obviously, that's where he plays. But meaning, what I'm saying is, I just don't see I don't even think he is top 5 world best players in the Premier League. Top 5. I'm
top 5 best. No.
I don't even think so.
5 of them play for City.
Well, but my point is that, I mean, how old is he?
De Bruyne, Haaland, Rodri.
How old?
22, maybe.
21. Okay.
Saka?
It still has a lot of time. But obviously, when people talk about him, they don't take their time. They say he is, a world class player that they want. Somebody from Arsenal fan that's on the radio, he said that he would ask for $1 million, or not $1 million, but they have a clause like 500 million pounds for him is to put as a clause or something like. I don't even how he would never leave Arsenal. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean?
English players don't leave, right? That's the other thing. They really don't. It's very rare.
Yeah, and then like you said, a lot of Manchester City players. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like you said, could be Messi, could be Haaland, but don't throw away my Julian Alvarez, man. He did enough.
No chance.
He did it. Why is there no chance? Because he doesn't deserve it.
Because he's talented enough. He didn't play 2,000 minutes in the league, so it's just not enough.
No,
it's not enough playing time.
It's
just not.
He did enough to contribute for the treble and enough to contribute for the World Cup. Those are two big things.
You're giving the World Cup so much that if you're doing that for Alvarez, then it has to be Messi. Do you know what I mean?
But let me tell you this.
Because Alvarez didn't do enough.
Okay.
There's no way.
Let me have the camera. Let me have the camera. No. Let me have the camera. Julian Alvarez did more to win the World Cup for Argentina than Messi. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Watch the games. Messi scored I think he got the golden boot. All penalties. You know
this. You're talking crazy. You know this, and I know this. The gravity of what Messi does, the movement of what he does, allows other players to do things. I will give Alvarez, and I love him, a lot of credit for not being afraid of the moment and being like, you know what, Messi, I'll take this ball. I'll go run with it. I'm not passing it to you. I got a shot here. I'm going to shoot it, right? So he did step up in the fact that he wasn't afraid and intimidated by playing with him, which is what, just a side note, which is what I think happens with Cristiano a lot, right? His teammates are afraid of him. And that's the good thing about Messi. They all pulled together for him and they lifted him up as a group. So they all wanted it for him. And I think that's the indelible that's the indelible vision of that World Cup, even though it's really hard to remember it in the face of that crazy freaking season where they had a World Cup in the winter, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. We'll see. We'll see who's going to win it. Cristiano Ronaldo declares his rivalry with Lionel Messi is over. Over, man. Over. Basically, every time he gets on the podium, I don't know if they do the same thing to Messi, but they do it to Ronaldo. They ask him of, either the MLS, the Saudi, Messi, like always some kind of question related to the opposite, to the rival. And Messi and Ronaldo won 12 Ballon d'Ors between them during 13 years streak. I think who won in the middle? Modric, I think. Modric. And it's over, isn't it?
Yeah, it's over. Messi won because he's the better player. He has the World Cup. That's it. That's the tiebreaker, right?
But come on, time out. Portugal.
Sorry, you're.
Hey, Portugal is good.
It's not close.
But they don't have the world class players that Argentina has had for a long time and didn't.
They don't? Sure.
Who?
They do.
What
are you talking about?
Really?
Portugal's good.
Who is
shitty coach is their problem?
Who is a Di Maria for Portugal? Somebody
that Argentina team was not better than Portugal. Period.
Oh man,
Portugal's
you're crazy,
good.
Man. No. I disagree with that. I mean, historically, obviously, throughout their whole 17, 20-year careers, Portugal has had lesser teams quality-wise than Argentina.
I don't agree with that at all.
In history?
Oh no, not in history.
I'm talking about
careers. It's been over their careers. They've been in equal stead.
What? No, sure. Man. We're gonna put this. This is gonna be everywhere because you cannot.
Portugal and Argentina during the careers of Messi and Ronaldo have been very close in talent.
Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way, man. I mean, they have some good players, but the fact that they're playing in Europe is why they got it. If Portugal
Figo?
was if that was Figo played until 2007, 2008. That wasn't what the heck.
Yeah,
Figo was the top.
He played. Okay, they lost to Greece in 2004. That was Ronaldo's team.
Man, I can name you Carlos Tevez. Portugal never had a player like that. Kun Agüero. Portugal has never had a player like that.
But they never could play as a group. They can't play seven strikers.
Well, no, exactly. But I'm saying
Cristiano just had to play. It was Cristiano.
Cristiano had been running that team, man. He didn't have
into the ground.
No, man, you're a Cristiano hater, man. He is a top
I can't
world player. He's a hard worker. I mean, such a great striker. I think he's a footballer. I mean, people say, no, well, Cristiano, he's great mentally, leadership, physically, but Messi plays football. What the hell does Cristiano play? Cricket? I mean, Cristiano plays football also, man. Just two different players that, no pun intended, they play differently. They could play together in any team.
The question is this: who would you want to play with? That's the tiebreaker.
That's not the tiebreaker. Who would you rather be a teammate with?
It is for me.
I mean,
yes,
I'd rather play with both. They could both play with me. You got to
make it. You got to pick one.
I'm a 6.
You got to pick one.
I'm a 6. I could play right in the middle. Messi on the right side, and Ronaldo on they literally could play together, man. Yes. But anyways, they're just two great footballers, man. They made football really fun for a long time, both of them, and they're one for Real Madrid, one for Barcelona. It can't get any better than that. But okay, so let's move. Let's keep moving. The U.S. is going to play Uzbekistan. I said it right this weekend.
Very good.
And it's the beginning of oh my goodness, it's the beginning of a second era for Greg Berhalter, the top-notch, top world-class coach manager that the U.S. Soccer Federation decided that needed to come back for another run after an incredible World Cup. I'm sure we got to the finals for him to get back, to get hired back or something like that. So he's back, and his second phase in the national team is going to start against Uzbekistan. So what can we expect? This is just a friendly game. It was supposed to give it between Brazil and in Argentina. Couldn't happen, of course. The World Cup qualifiers are going, and just couldn't couldn't get it done. But I mean, what can we expect from this U.S. team? I mean, they're going to have everybody back. I'm going to be, by the way, in the stadium. I'm going to go to the stadium to watch the U.S. Yes. I'm going to play against the powerful Uzbekistan. So I think
I think that these types of games have no value.
No.
I think that honestly, because the U.S. is going to lose to Uzbekistan.
No, they're probably, like you said, more than anything useless. But I mean, they have to be worth something. I'm sure that, he's going to have to work and put players in, try this, try that. I don't think we are going to have a problem qualifying for the World Cup in our own damn country because we host it.
Well, we host it. Yeah, we're in automatically.
But I mean, let's get to the point, man. Can Berhalter really lead the U.S. to do something good in the World Cup?
The goal for the U.S., the best they can do, I think, if they could get to the semifinal, that would be
amazing,
tremendous. So Final Four,
your top four,
even quarterfinal would be good. Like win a fucking knockout game, not a although they did, making it to the quarterfinal would be big. I think the difficulty is, and I was talking about this in the chat, is the lack of belief and confidence in what U.S. soccer should be, right? My thought, and I could be wrong, and this is turn on the Alexi Lalas camera, right, is that the U.S. are at their best when they're not trying to play football, because we'll never out-technical any country, because kids in this country don't start playing at 2 years old, right? It's part of our whole thing. We'll never get enough touches. Like, even our best player, there's no way he had as much touches on the ball as 15 Brazilians, 20 Germans, and half of England, right? So my thought is that not that we need to have an American player, but be the best at 4-4-2, sitting deep, 5 at the back, flying wing backs, use the athleticism, attack, but attack as a defensive unit, meaning you're in people's faces. You're using your strength. You want to freaking dance on the ball? We'll kick you in the fucking shins. When we get the ball, we hoof it up top. We send one of our strikers up there and play everything through Pulisic, and he's our fulcrum for creating things. That's how the U.S. is at its best. When everyone is a garbage pail guy, when everyone is running and being athletic and playing to the strength of Americans. Americans are big and strong and can run all goddamn day. That's our DNA. We're at our best in 2002 when we went to the quarterfinals. That's how the team played. I just think of McBride. I think of Donovan. I think of Balboa. I think of Cherundolo. I think of those athletic college guys who just ran up and down all day. And we'd have iconoclastic players in Dempsey, who was a maverick and would do anything, but he had a structure of guys that were going to run for him all day. And that's just what happened in Argentina, really. They sacrificed the light. DePaulo was playing up front, right? That style wins in tournaments because you'll never have enough time to create the patterns of beautiful play. Nobody ever won the fucking World Cup playing beautiful football.
The freaking.
Only Brazil can do that. Only Brazil can do that. Excuse me.
Well,
only Brazil can do that. And even they don't do that all the time.
No,
it's too hard.
That's true. But I mean, I think that. So you're wanting the U.S. to play a pragmatic.
Yeah,
game.
Just who are we kidding?
Well, no. But no, ready for. I think any team can put the ball on the ground and play. If you teach them right, if you practice right.
I'm going to say it out loud. Here, turn on the camera. You ready? Jose Mourinho, come to the U.S. and teach us the ways of evil. Get your beautiful white hair. Go on Fox Sports 1. Talk your talk. Make fun of your players. Be like, I'm supposed to make something out of these players? I do it because I'm special. And America's big country, they can take me. And take over U.S. football and win us a tournament, a real one. Go in there, leave Roma, take over U.S. football. You'll be a star. You'll be bigger than Zlatan and bigger than Messi. Can you imagine Mourinho in the USA? I would love it. Love it!
It definitely lost his damn mind. But
that would be fancy. He'd be the best. He'd be the best.
I would agree that. I mean, I would agree that. I mean, I wouldn't mind Mourinho coming to the U.S., but
he would find the fighters. He would find a John Terry somewhere. He'd make Ryan Zimmerman into a killer. You know what I mean? But he would find them.
I think we have. I think we have good players, man. I think we have good players. Now that they're playing in Europe, maybe
but
they're
not good enough to play football.
No, what do you mean?
As a
Come
way
on.
to win in the tournament.
Come on, man. That is unfair to say. That is unfair to say that you're buying into the bullshit that I'm sorry, bull crap. We can't curse anymore. But the bull crap that everybody in Europe says that the US players can't play soccer or football. You're buying into that. We can't play.
It's not that. It's not that. It's taking the ethos of our best of ourselves. We have to have a way. And I think our way is maximizing Tyler Adams, maximizing Weston McKennie. Those two players are good at going around, kicking people, and making things happen. Maximizing
that is a way of playing.
Physicality, right? I mean, no, but more so. Don't try and play. Don't try and possess the ball. If we have over 50% possession, we did something wrong.
No, you had no. See that? No, that doesn't mean anything because Simeone is of that thought, and he's in Europe.
Legend.
He's no legend. He's a legend at the Athletic Club, but that's it. He's no legend. He never won a World Cup. Went to the finals, lost over and over. Barely won a few La Ligas. Come on.
Won La Liga in the middle of Cristiano and Messi at Barca and Real. I would argue that they're winning that. They won twice. I would argue that winning those La Ligas was harder than any trophy anyone has ever won ever. That's like Leicester.
No way.
That's how good those trophies were to me. They went to the Champions League final twice.
I think it's about having a good coach and him implementing his way of playing into the players.
I think Mourinho. I would take Cholismo in the US any day of the week. Give me crap football for the US. It would be perfect.
No way. I mean, Mourinho could come and teach his ways as long as he teaches them right and they learn, they'll do it. Guardiola would be the same. Teach them the right way and they will do it. No, it's about learning the mechanism.
Would be terrible for the US. We would be terrible. The fullbacks would be like, "What? Where's the ball? Whoa!"
It's about teaching them right, man.
Back. Matt Turner's kicking.
Matt Turner can play.
Oh my God.
Matt Turner can play. Now come on now. See, you are buying into the European stereotypical talk about US players. Yes, you are. We're not good enough. We're not good enough to play soccer. No. You're saying we're not good enough to play soccer. No, you can't say that.
To the World Cup? No,
we can compete.
No,
it's about playing the game however the manager wants. But with Berhalter, he has no idea what he wants to do, let alone teach the players.
I will listen. The game that lost me for Berhalter, and I will never ever forget it. Honduras at home. They're like all the Honduras guys are all like over 35, and they are kicking the U.S. around the park. That first half was the worst performance I've seen by any team ever. And I saw Derby County earn 10 points in the Premier League, the worst team ever played. They were that bad. Now, in the second half, he changed everything and somehow he won. But that first half was the worst football I had ever seen. And I'll never trust Berhalter again because of that. And messing up this Reina thing is a clown show.
Right.
What are you doing, dude?
That's the thing. Now he's injured now, so he wasn't called up.
Is Reina a jerk? Or could his mom and dad not have been jerks? Probably, but that was indicative of American sports. Your mom and dad calls the coach and says you should be playing and tries to blackmail you. What?
Well, that wasn't right. But,
what are we doing?
But you're right. I mean,
Tyler Twellman, what are we doing?
Well, now, I mean, yeah. I think they were both wrong to a certain extent. Now, he is probably, I will say, I mean, Reina is probably the best or second best player we have when it comes to thinking the game. So
but he's a baby.
But you got
he acts like a baby.
His
mommy had to call the coach.
Man, there's players, all kinds of players
that happened when he was a baby.
There's all kinds of players that are that, and they don't have to be from the U.S.
Wanda Icardi would like a word.
Exactly.
What's that?
It's worse. At least your mom is your mom, but when your wife is calling the coach, it's like, damn,
Is that
can't
her?
control your wife.
It's not Icardi. I don't want. Did I get it wrong?
Oh, Wanda Nara, but it is Icardi because they're married. So, but she goes by Wanda Nara.
Okay,
but she goes by Wanda Nara.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
so
I didn't. But that is the player who's the jerk.
Yeah. Mauro Icardi. But I mean, we'll see what happens with Berhalter. Now, what do you think about this? St. Louis being the capital city of soccer in the U.S.
I love it. I love it.
There is an idiot pundit that has some followers, and I got into an argument, not a little bit of an argument with him on Twitter. Not an argument really, because it's just 2 replies. But he said,
"I'll take it."
He said something along the lines of, "So St. Louis is the soccer city of the world now. I mean, of the U.S. now." And he put the question as of who the F said this and that, and he obviously said no disrespect to St. Louis. But when you ask who the F, that you're putting a little bit of disrespect behind your question. You know, like if the players say that, if the coaches say that, who are you to say that it's not? It might not be, but nobody has the truth here. We can give our opinion on what we think, but if you give facts, historic facts, from the 50s, from the 70s, right now, the list of players from the U.S. are, I mean, you got Riem playing in England that's from St. Louis. You got the goalkeeper, Turner, from St. Louis. You got a few, and I mean, just a few, but it is kind of hard saying that because, I mean, soccer is a fairly new sport in the U.S., but they're stating some facts. I mean, I wouldn't go crazy. However, I just get crazy with the fact that somebody can say, who the F are these people to say? Who the F are you to just
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Question the truth?
Cast your mind back.
Okay.
It's 1950. We are in the Stadio Belo Horizonte in Brazil. It's England versus the USA in the 1950 World Cup. The most famous game in U.S. men's national team history. England, who wouldn't even go to the World Cup because they were like, it was beneath them. Go to the World Cup, and the USA beats them 1-0 in Brazil. World famous. Half of that team is born in St. Louis, Missouri. Half. Half. Okay? The other half is from Fall River, and there's a couple of guys from other places. But half of the team is from St. Louis. Famously, an immigrant city, lots of Italians. If you know the history of Yogi Berra, he talked about playing soccer in St. Louis, even though baseball was the other sport. So St. Louis has a great history of sport. It is the capital. Tyler Twellman is from St. Louis. His dad played soccer. He's also from St. Louis. Just a lot of St. Louis history comes from that part of town. I believe. What?
Sargent? Yeah, he's Josh Sargent.
Makes sense.
From St. Louis.
Yep. So I would agree. There's something going on in that town. There are soccer towns in the country that it's based on the immigrants.
But right? it's just that, right? Like, I mean, it could be just a logo slogan. Like, leave it alone. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, just let people. Like, I don't understand, man. We as amateur pundits, we get here, we talk. And
amateur. I'm a professional.
Yeah, but you're right. But we can sit here and talk. We have better things to do, man, than just question what I can kill Berhalter for 10 hours straight, and just keep going instead of just picking a simple phrase. That maybe it gives us a little bit. Maybe U.S. soccer fans want to have a little bit of identity. Maybe a little bit of history that they can learn and identify with, instead of saying that we started playing soccer last year. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because we're tired of hearing of Real Madrid's 120 million years of age, and also Manchester United and England and Wembley Stadium. So
the U.S. has a lot of soccer history, actually. The reason why we are a mess is because it's always been fractured. Right. We've had 3 different leaders. We've had 5 different leagues. We had all the ingredients for great football in this country. It was never centralized. They were competing leagues. If you can look through the history, we've had the U.S. Open Cup in the United States since 1920. We've had our FA Cup. It has been won by very famous local ethnic teams. Most famously, the Brooklyn Italians, which is the greatest soccer team name ever in the history of anything. But we had the same roots of football clubs that the rest of the world had. Local men's teams. We had like Bethlehem Steel was a big club. We had Fall River Ironworks. A lot of things that sound similar to what happened in England, but the professionalism, the centralization that you had in baseball and the NFL, the NBA later, just never happened. It was always fractured. Right. It was always local. It was always ethnic. So there was always a sort of like, this isn't American. And so our people sort of rejected it. We took baseball as our native sport. We took American football as our native sport. And those were the two pillars of that developmental era. And that's why we're the way we are. Yeah. And we're still fighting the same fights locally. How do you find players? How does a poor kid from the barrio in El Paso get to play at a showcase in St. Louis? We don't have a system to do that. It doesn't work. And so we have this national team that is very, very middle class. It doesn't have that hunger that working class kids have that other countries have, right? Where this is my way out. Right. Football is not the way out for anyone. American football and basketball are the way out, right? That's their narrative, right? That's why you see the Latino baseball players get out of the DR, you play baseball. Get out of Venezuela, you play baseball, right? So you need that financial motivation that American soccer just doesn't have. It's a middle-class suburban sport where in everywhere else in the world, it's an urban city sport, and it's not.
Yeah, no, that is true. And I don't know that necessarily could change. They still could make it easy for lower income kids to get involved. I mean, you can actually, what's surprising is
it's happening across all sports now. Now they're all going that way.
No, you're right.
What's happened with soccer in the suburbs is now happening in all sports.
But what doesn't change in the U.S., I mean, let's just be honest, we are king at every sport except soccer yet. We are modern, we're moderate there, but we're not the worst. We don't have the worst soccer in the world, so I'm not going to let anybody say that.
Not by far. But we're not in the pressure cooker.
We're not in the pressure cooker. Yeah, we're not there, but I think what doesn't change in U.S. sports. I know you're saying that. Yeah, it is hard. I mean, when I was growing up, not too long ago, I mean, it was a lot to play baseball. I was playing baseball and everything freaking cleats. I mean, I start from the bottom, and it cost a lot of money. Basketball as well. Basketball less than baseball, of course. Any field sport is going to cost more, but what doesn't get lost is that in the neighborhood, the kids go to their local court. They're all sprayed with graffiti and everything, but they still go and play with the raggedy basketball, and they still play it, right? And so you don't see that in soccer. Maybe you can facilitate, and you can probably copy. You can copy. I mean, either South American countries, like I was saying on the chat, they built
everywhere.
They built concrete
courts everywhere.
They actually make basketball courts, and just the bottom, they just paint the lines to make them into soccer. The soccer. Well,
that's
lines.
Something Kyle Martino, who used to be on NBC's Sports, U.S. men's national team player, won the MLS Cup with LA Galaxy, has been spending the last 5 years going to local, going to different areas within urban areas and building nets that you pull out from underneath the basketball net. And so he's been installing those where he can, but he doesn't have enough money yet. But he's trying, and he has an app to make games, and he's trying to do that. So there are a lot of people trying to do it. It just takes a long time.
Yeah, of course, it takes a long time.
And if it's not culturally in your country,
it's cultural.
But it can be made a priority, right? Like the famous one was Iceland, who made that Euros, and they gave us that stupid Viking clap.
Yeah, everybody copied.
They spent all this money to find players, and they put outdoor rinks, outdoor stadiums, indoor stadiums on turf.
One thing that is all over the country. One thing that doesn't help, and one thing like per se, the tickets for my tickets to go to the national team are cheap.
$150.
They are cheap. They cost $40, $50. They some do cost $150. But I will say this: when you compare, it's not that's the national team. Okay, yeah. you go there once or twice a year. But the MLS has done a ridiculous job at boosting these tickets because of Messi is here. I get that. But you can make your money without exploiting people. And there is not a way in heaven or hell that I or a baseball fan that I'm going to ask a baseball fan or a basketball fan, hey, don't go watch the Memphis Grizzlies that are around here. Don't go watch the Memphis. Come watch the St. Louis City, the soccer team. You know, in Memphis, tickets cost less than the soccer, and it's not as popular as basketball. Why would any fan? Why would any fan do that? If you're trying to go, because around here, you know, I live in a neck of the woods. I mean, really, you know, everything is baseball and basketball, golf, and football and all that stuff. And so I have a few people that come. Hey, did you go watch St. Louis? I mean, it's pretty nice, really intense. Never actually in baseball in Busch Stadium or you know, we have baseball only, but never in baseball have I actually felt that intensity in a sport. They were telling me this. I was like, duh, dumbass, you should have been watching soccer for a long time. But it's a learning process. But if you raise the tickets, how you can't share that experience? They have to be smart, man, instead of just trying to make their money. They're still going to make their money. They're going to make millions. But don't be so greedy. Because if you're trying to grow the sport, it's hard, man. You can't do it and charge people a lot of money.
I have a take, and I'm going to blame Mexico. The reason why the U.S. isn't good at football is because Mexico is incompetent. They should be kicking our ass over and over twice a week. And since they've been bad, we need a rival. Brazil has Argentina. But France has Germany and England.
Right.
All these countries have these big, giant rivalries. And our rival is crap.
But
so we never get good because our level is to beat Mexico.
Or in the Leagues Cup, they've been getting their butt. I mean, St. Louis is leading, got beat by America bad, and I think there's still a difference. I think that if the U.S. goes to play Copa Libertadores, it's going to be great for the sport here, even though they will get their butt kicked.
They'll get beat. They won't beat Venezuela. They won't beat Peru.
But that's how. I mean, yeah, but it could be. They need to do that. They have to compete, and so I mean, they could be a chance so they can do it because Messi. You know, they want to have Messi making money in South America too. Of course, they're going to do it because of that, not because they want to grow the sport.
The U.S. just should be like, we're leaving CONCACAF. We're going to secede.
Australia did that, and they grow. Australia said we're going to leave Oceania, and we're going to go to Asia. They did it. They were allowed. I mean, shoot, why not? If you're trying to grow the sport, play against the best
What's
teams.
The other one? Israel did that too. They're part of Europe, even though they play in like, I don't know what the division is, Middle Eastern, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so
along. We've gone all over the place.
Last but not least, just the thoughts on the Chelsea legend John Terry as he is looking to go to Saudi Arabia. He doesn't have an experience at all, so I don't think this is a bad deal for him. I think this could be good.
It's a good deal. He's got to get the reps. Coaching is about reps, but we have seen from that generation of player
not do well.
Phil Neville, Gary Neville, John Terry, now Gerrard, Lampard. That group. Not one of them is a successful coach. Gerrard is the only one who can really say he was successful. Wow. And Lampard a little bit, I guess. Maybe. Although extent. Tuchel did take that team and he got them Lampard that first time around did get them into the top 4 with that young group where he didn't have a transfer ban. But then Tuchel takes that team and wins the freaking Champions League, and Lampard's playing with, and then Lampard takes over Chelsea again, that same group, and they are the worst team I've ever seen in the Premier League at that cost. Gerrard does win in Scotland. They win a title. They go undefeated. Huge deal. I get it. But he does go to Aston Villa, and he's made to look terrible because Unai Emery's like, you're a clown. I'll show you how it's done. Takes that team, and they take off. So the jury's out on that group of players. I would imagine from that group, I guess Southgate wouldn't necessarily be that group, but that golden age group, Rooney had some success. He's not doing particularly well at DC United, right?
Well, I mean, but they keep him. You know, he's just been really chilling there.
Well,
Now there's
I mean,
there's
he
thoughts
was
that
at Derby.
there's thought that he
Yeah.
might go to Birmingham because Tom Brady might want him out there. He'll go in a heartbeat.
Oh, okay.
Go back to England.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but Birmingham's not in good shape, honestly. That team's not. I mean, it might work for them, but I'm just checking MLS where DC United is. Are they in the playoffs at least? Yeah, they're ninth. They can still get in. They have a positive. Oh, they're having a decent year. I know that's a poorly run club in general. Benteke with 10 goals, so he's in the top 5 of goals, and they have a positive goal difference, only -1. So they're pushing for the playoffs. It'll be tough, but we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I guess he's been okay. He was okay at Derby, but I just don't think that those players of that era they don't have the right. They're not trained well enough in tactics, and they all admit it when they played at England together. They didn't know what to do. And I think that the modern English player, the younger player, this next generation, just Bellingham, Saka, Foden, Raheem Sterling to a lesser extent, this newer group, because they've been playing with much better coaching, I think they're going to get a better sense of how to lay a team out, and that tactics matter. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe John Terry is a Simeone type, and he just wins on, we win because if we don't win, I'll kill you, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I doubt it.
I don't know either.
He'll have to win.
I doubt it too.
He'll have to make his.
And he might try and bang one of his players' wives because that's what he's
hell no. Anyways, on that note, we end the show. Football tonight. Laurent with his extreme hot takes, and Chris Rodriguez with
Jose Mourinho for USA
with his objectivity. Chris Rodriguez, of course, out here. And that's it. We're going to see each other next Monday, right? Yeah, next Monday. We'll see what happens. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of news.
We have a preview.
International break.
Maybe Graham Potter will take over for Lyon.
Whatever. Maybe Mourinho needs to go to St. James's Park instead of Eddie Howe. Oh, that's one hell of a hot take. Oh, we'll see each other next time. Bye-bye.